All right. Today will be Team A. Before going into charts and practice, we're still going to do a lot more practice today. Then tomorrow we'll start to look at live market together. And if there's no setup, then we'll again do more practice. We're going to rinse and repeat for the rest of the program. All right. So from yesterday and from you guys' homework or practice, anyone have any pairs that you guys were studying or any questions, anything like that? Team A or Team B, it's fine. Okay, Laila?
Yes, I have questions about Swiss yen, a trade that I took yesterday, or I imagined that I would take.
Okay. Yep. So where do you want to start your read from?
From that's good. That's on the hour. I was looking at the whole thing here. I have to annotate. The whole picture, I saw this one that was the last buyer from maybe the 4 hour even. I didn't consider this because when I saw this, I was somewhere here, I think. So all of this move had happened already. So I thought, okay, this is a big move. This is where the last buyers tried, and now it came down. So okay, if it comes up to here, I can sell it. But on this time, I saw that this move was so big. So I squeezed the chart and I saw something. I needed to see where it reacted from. And when I squeezed it, I saw more, a little bit more. There, yes. I saw that this whole push, it killed this big seller, and these were the last sellers. So this could be a good point for the buyers to try to go up to here. So that was on my mind. Then I looked at this down move, and I saw where the volume was, and I saw that the volume increased here, down here. So that was also good.
Yeah.
Then I went to the 5.
Okay. Yeah, in the past I do stuff like this as well, but sometimes it gets really tricky to time the move. What I'm trying to say is because how strong this push is, this push coming down. How should I put this? We're using a story that's coming from a much bigger time frame. You see, we're looking at this all of this cell, and we're looking at this guy, these guys, all these pieces before killing this huge guy. And then we're looking at this strong push down, assuming that we are gonna get a reaction of that area, and that's correct. But it's not gonna be something we are gonna be able to do on a 65, if that makes sense. So let's say we have sort of like a refresh, and all of this, imagine this on the 60, right? Yeah. And then you get a kill here.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you get this kill, let's say it doesn't really travel that far. Okay. When this thing pulls back, it's still within the same kind of time frame. You see what I mean? We're looking at this territory, this 60-minute guy who started, this 60-minute guy who started. So here on the 5, it's easy to get the buy in because you're able to see the slowdown on the 5. But here, because it's so big, so imagine this push goes up very, very far, and then it crashes down really, really hard. So now it almost seems like all these guys are involved now, right? All these guys.
Yeah.
All these guys are involved, and this push is so strong that 65 is going to be extremely risky to trade. So stuff like this generally is more of a 15-minute time frame trade instead of the 5-minute. The risk here is looking at this push coming down like that. On the 5, you obviously see small little holes, small little holes, small little holes, and all those could potentially be our guy who started, as we have learned on the 5-minute. But because it's so strong, like even all the higher time frame are able to see it, this kill, it won't matter so much for the higher time frame. It might just still continue to go down. That's why, we have to look at it on the 15 probably.
Yeah. I looked at it on the hour and the 5 here, and I saw that on the hour where it stopped, I had volume there where from I think it was okay. Here I had volume and it went up, so this could be more important. I think this volume was more than all of this move. So this could be important, just a reaction area, just as counter trend to, and I marked it here. Maybe it would begin to come only to here, and here somewhere I saw volume. So when it came up over that volume, that piece, I thought, okay, now I have volume behind on the 5. I have volume behind me, and then I saw something, as I said here. So maybe it could come just up to here, nothing more, because this is a big move. It took a whole day. This will take more than a day before, because as Naveen says, a big meal, you have to digest it. So I thought maybe level to level only. And then I was scared here somewhere, I don't know, to this week. I came up from here to this week on the 5, and I saw that the volume increased and I got scared. I just got out there. That was it.
Okay. So you're looking at maybe all of this bar's volume, which is here.
Yeah, it increased. Yeah, the volume increased here on the bottom from here. It began to increase here. So I thought, okay, this could be, and I saw all the reactions from the hour and the 4 hour, and I thought, oh, okay, this move can come up to some level where I have high volume and maybe stop there and maybe try again to the next level, just like that. Just, okay, gauge the volume. Is it behind me? Is it in front of me? And take the move or not take the move.
Yeah. It's a good way of looking at it, and I wouldn't say it's wrong. It's just you keep an eye on this kind of move. I'm gonna show you some of these kind of trades I took from before as well. Just keep track of, because this is not typically a 65 trade. So what you want to do is just journal this trade, and then look at them over time when you have enough data to see how profitable you are able to take these kind of trades. Because the story still stays the same, right? If we're going back to the 240, we know these areas could potentially cause a reaction. So the story is definitely there. It's just how you want to execute it that makes the difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But it's a fairly decent one to look at least. I think some of the prop guys were looking at this buy as well yesterday. So
okay.
Yeah. So it's again, there's no right or wrong in doing things. You just gotta make sure that there's logic. The only thing here is 5-minute wouldn't be so logical. Fading this move.
No, I get it, because even on the 4 you see this big move, and it's like maybe it's time to, even here maybe it's the seller's time, not the buyer, because it came too strong.
Yeah.
So that would be also a risk. Yeah.
Yep, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, then I saw that the yen was weak, very weak, and the Swiss was strong. That was also in my mind when I did that.
So what you did right here with what we have learned so far is knowing that this could be a zone on a higher time frame. But the most important thing is knowing that this is not healthy because of this. And who's selling down there at some kind of level. So that's correctly used. It's a good job there.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, thank you.
For the pullback sell, even though we don't really have like a range to say there's temporary buyers, would you say with all these holds and pushes up with the volume, there would be temporary buyers on this time frame for the pullback?
Yeah. Where are you trying to go with this?
If the level was higher and we was looking for the pullback sell, would you say that on this time frame we have temporary buyers? So eventually when it goes, we could do like a primary, secondary type move?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let's say from where it is right now, it may continue to push up. From that zone, like you said, it might just do a primary and say it does secondary like that, right? In this case, because all of this pullback on the buy side on the 60-minute itself created like sort of like a guy who started on the way up, and because of how much it has slowed down and how much it's pulling back right now, all of these can be seen as a refresh. So there might just be a primary and then secondary like that. So again, the safest one to trade would be taking out the 60-minute guy who started and then doing this. Yeah. Yeah, nothing much to add there. Just make sure if we do go up, you do the same thing on the 5-minute, gauge the push towards the upside, wait for the 5-minute to turn, and then have enough space if you want to do a primary before any kind of reaction comes in, and then wait for this piece.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have some volume here and volume here. So, yeah. So, again, just to show you, when you do the primary, just want to make sure you have enough volume at the top. And then when you do the sell, you have enough space. When you do this piece, try and make sure that this move actually get all the volume from here and here transferred over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If it stops right here, this move, then you don't really want to do a pullback sell because that volume might just be a wall that's holding the market.
Yeah. And if we get that volume transferred over for the on trade, we would take it all the way down to here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Like your dollar CAD yesterday, right? I think it went further down.
Yeah.
Yep. So another piece of information that might be a little bit helpful is when I see stuff like this, I wouldn't keep Swiss franc yen in mind at all, just because I know my goal is to sort of like day trade, right? I'm trading at 65. So if I'm sitting down and market is about to open, I want to see what trade can I take right now. So in this case, there's nothing I can do. So when we're looking, when we're coming into the markets and markets are about to open, just look for things or setups that's at a logical area for release. So let's say when market is about to open and you're sitting down, getting ready to trade, and market is right here. then focus on this. If let's say market is about to open, price is doing this, then here you're just on standby mode until you have this. And then maybe this is London. London sort of slows down a little bit, and then New York does this. So we only have like certain times where markets are going to move, and it's only during those hours where we have to pay attention. Yeah. All right. It's a good example, this one. Any other question? Any other pairs from yesterday you guys were doing on practice? Team B?
Yeah, Lucas, I was looking at that USD yen marked was kind of interesting.
For today?
Yeah.
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 All right. So this one. Yeah. Yeah, try and read the story maybe try reading it from here. From here to here. Just piece by piece. What do you see?
Let's see. You messed me up, man. I didn't start the story from right there. So we have high volume down here.
Yep.
Starting off. And then where's this next orange bar? Is that right at the top?
Yep.
So it's got even about equal height all the way to the top. So it makes you wonder who's buying it there. So this uptrend isn't that healthy, I would say.
Yep.
Off the bat. You want me to keep reading all the way down?
Yeah, from there. Yeah, what do you see on the price action point of view? Yep.
That's the last guy who started. We came back, tested him. He tried and just kept trying at this point, tried again. And then we finally broke through him at that area right here, which trapped.
All right. So hold on. Here, this piece.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say it's a refresh or it's sort of like just continuing the up move?
I think it's just still these buyers trying again. So I wouldn't think it was a refresh.
Okay. Yeah, because it's still around the same zone, right? However, there's a few things we have to keep in mind. Okay. Because we sort of like stall here a little bit and then stall here a little bit. Mm-hmm. I think we have invited sellers to come in, as real sellers coming in. Okay, so if you look at it like that, this is the part where we have primary, right? Secondary, and then here it's supposed to go, right? Obviously, it tests deeper. It can test deeper. So it tests deeper, but they are still supposed to go. So here, right, we've sort of turned into buyer territory for a little bit here, where it's supposed to, continue to move up. So let's just say if this is truly a refresh, right, with the buyers and the buyers here, if we do resolve down, with volume, this is the earliest area we can attempt, some sort of a sell based on the fact that refreshes means, refreshes means there's actually buyers coming in afterwards around this zone here. So I think yesterday we had a question about, Jay was talking about dollar CAD, right? When pull back to a level and then wanted to sell here, but upon checking the 5-minute time frame, the guy who started was all the way down there. So by the time we actually have to sell safely, it's really far away from our level. So these are the cases where let's just imagine this is the 5, okay? and then we are at a huge level on the 60 for release. This type of stuff we can do because we are able to see a refresh, and then we are able to see buyers. All right. Now this is supposed to be the on mode here, this phase. All right. When this on mode phase fails, this could potentially be a sell.
Okay.
Does that make sense, or is it?
Yeah, I think what helps me to know that these guys could potentially be these sellers coming in, I just need to remember how I would feel if I bought here and saw all this chop. I bought here and saw all this, and then this big move down, would I still want to be in it? And then another drop, that's definitely going to invite sellers.
Yeah.
So that could kind of give it away that that's a refresh, right? Without actually taking him out.
Yeah. Without actually taking him out, this drop and this drop. Well, not really this one, but this one here does invite sellers. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah. And then.
Yeah. But if
that
it's
does make sense.
Right. So if it's not really a refresh in this zone here, then this cannot be attempted, right? Because there's no trap above. If it's not a refresh.
Gotcha. If it just came down and then reacted, kind of like that.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how strong this push down is as well. But if it just does this, then probably not really a refresh. Then you cannot really sell this piece because this piece might be the primary and then secondary to launch again. Does that make sense? Yeah. So Jay, to answer your question from yesterday, yeah, if you can clearly see a refresh, on the 5 without taking out the guy who started, this is questionable, right? But if you're able to see a refresh like that and then fail, then we can sell at our level on the 60.
Yeah, the volume looks really good too.
Yeah, well, in this case, we do have good volume, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a tie B yesterday.
Yeah. All right, Casey, so we have all of this price action going on, sells kicked in, right? Let's say sells do kick in, all right? And then what happens next?
They push down further. This is where I wasn't super sure, but my read, this first push stopped in this area. We did a pullback, and then here we made a really low. But the guy who started there is kind of how I was reading it.
Yeah.
We reacted from this area, probably from over there. Second. And then, so we pushed up, we tested the guy who started. He attempted, this is where I wasn't real sure on this trap because he attempted here, a small pullback, and then he attempted again, and then he got taken out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at first I was thinking this whole thing would be my trap. But I decided that possibly these last sellers were my trap area. I don't know if I was looking at that correctly. But regardless, we pushed up higher. And then we came back and tested this guy who started. Tried a couple times and then broke below. So that became another trap right there. So I was looking at these kind of two levels that we're working with, and then this being, I guess, the primary, this kind of being a secondary because he broke through, and then this being the not cheese, but the, what do we call it? The good trade.
No, yeah. Oh,
In this area, I'm not sure if that was it or we're still waiting for it to come back a little deeper.
yeah.
If that makes sense at all.
Yeah. I think I'm reading it the same way as you are right now. So if this is primary, we know primary cannot really go all the way down. So there's few ways of reading it, right? If this is primary and then it stops here, this could be a secondary, right? Primary cannot go all the way down because these guys may want to release,
Mhm.
and then it drops down. But whatever the case is, if this is the last guy who started on the 60, we killed him, we have a trap. Still the same thing, right?
Mhm.
The only thing that I'm a little bit doubtful of right now is, well, before that, even the volume looks good, right? Its volume is at the top mostly.
Mhm.
And the volume here on the 5, it's actually from the highest one, at least, is actually around the middle. It's not really at the bottom as well. So just looking at this piece alone, it looks okay. It's just that we are overall very much in an uptrend and not sure if these guys are holding grounds. That's the problem that I have right now, because we sort of cleared a very high area here,
Mhm.
and if we look at it like this, where if there is any kind of people not releasing when this thing crash, they might all still be trying to sell or try to release. Hence, we have some big move here, and then they got trapped. So it's a fight. It's a very tight fight between this zone and the zone right above us right now.
Okay. Yeah.
So in cases like this, it's always a little bit easier to sell the primary around here if there's an entry. Otherwise, I'm not too sure, or I wouldn't put too much money on this trade.
Yeah, even looking on the 5 at all this, it was it just there wasn't really anything that I could see to even try to get in at this point anyways.
Yeah. So on the 5, again, let's just go back to the 60 because we need a level on the 60 first. So on the 60, all we know right now is if this is the last guy who started, this is the last attempt. If this is the kill, then ideally we would want to see a release from there, right? On the 5, once we go back down to the 5, this is the zone we are working with. It's a small zone, even though it's a 60 zone. Our whole job here is to wait for the guy who started the buy side to be taken out. So here, and then no more higher highs after that. So if the setup is good, generally we will be waiting for this on the 5 at our 60-minute zone, get a kill, and then sell from there. Yeah, I think this part you understand, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup. It's just I'm not too sure because of this and the overall trend. So let's just see what is it gonna do.
Is it wrong to say that this is all still the primary? Because I see this as one buyer. They didn't really test the release that properly. So now they are, and we're working on a secondary now.
You can label it like that. if you do label it like that, then we are going back to the same question of where exactly are we expecting a release to come from. So let's say if you're calling this a guy who started and this is not really a new guy, right? Then there's no trap above us on the 60, right? So all this only can be identified on the 5. So let's just go down to the 5. Let's see where that is exactly. Right, buys, buys, buys. Just maybe here. Something like that. Maybe.
So when you're like in a dilemma like this, whether it's a cheese or a secondary, what target would you use? Would you just be conservative and get out at the secondary entry? I mean, take profit, or
go back to the 60. I need to see how it looks like. I think if we do pull back to that area, usually speaking, I'll go for this area as exit. Because if my assumption of this is just one piece, the guy is still alive. If I sell this piece, there's a good chance where it can hold still because of the guy who started, obviously. When this thing kill, I might or might not, get another entry. But sometimes, it just crashes down as well. But here's the thing, right? If you do get a pullback up towards this area here, you have a range, sort of like a range here that might mess with your cells. So preferably, you want to see a quick move up, a quick rejection back down to sell. Something like that.
Can we have also other scenarios?
Yeah.
Here, like for example, a ranging here, broke the range and then retest it, and here high volume on the range.
You can do that as well. Then that's just probably like the B type then, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's possible also.
So should we think in more scenarios like you put here the with probe, like I put with the range, and the other type C broke, yeah, or not?
Yeah, you can have a few scenarios in mind.
And also we have to interpret the traps and the volume, no, on the legs, on the 5.
Yeah. No need to think too far ahead, having what scenarios it might set up, because this, could take a whole day to set up like that. So all you need to really focus on is where is price going to release? Is it going to be here or here? Just those two areas. If we release here, then your question could be, we have already tested the area a few more times. Hopefully I get a spike up for this zone. That's your...
Yeah, it's better. It's better for risk reward to have a spike up and come back.
Yeah, that too. And then the second thing is, if you are selling here, then you have to ask, okay, if I sell there, this zone here might stop me from when I sell. It might hold or might continue pushing up, because we are still, maybe in this huge flows territory. So the point is, the scenarios you want to have in mind is just watching the few trap areas you're trying to sell from.
Okay, So depending on the traps, we make the scenarios. We expect
Yeah.
not all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Thank
Any
you.
other question? No worries for this one. Yep. Let's see if there's actually an entry on the 5 for this one. No.
On the 5, you said that the last guy was here.
Yeah.
But why not here? Because it stayed sufficient time here up.
I think that's fine too. But even if it's there, even if it's this guy, it's fine as well to call it that guy. You would still have your release zone marked like that, because this huge rejection might indicate that buyers were actually still trying to buy. And they're still trying to buy, and they got killed afterwards. So let's say if we were trying to sell a primary from here, our entry probably would be around zones like this. To sell here, stops here, try and take it down to maybe here. Something like that.
Here, can't we put sell limit?
Okay. Now.
Because we have here the V formation or something like this, and then here a range.
Yeah.
No, sorry. We have the type C here. I'll clear. We have here the type C, and then we expect here an enter. We stop loss here, and about take profit. Maybe here.
I wouldn't know if this is actually a kill when we are looking at it live, because we barely crossed that area. So I wouldn't really know if it's actually a kill or not. Unless
it stays here with high volume.
Yeah, it stays there. Afterwards, it stays there with high volume, right? So
okay.
So this stay here with high volume might just be telling you that it's still buyers coming in. So once we clear that zone, then it's not really a type C anymore, right? It's a type B.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And these lows here are maybe these guys here. That's why we cannot really wait for an entry up here anymore.
Understood.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
Stops would be here. Yeah. So that's around, what time is it? New York time. We changed the time zone here. Okay. 2:15 London time. 3 o'clock London time, sorry.
Depending on what session we are in, you change this time frame, time?
No. I just want to show you guys the standard time frame, London time.
Yeah, but if we are in London, in a New York session, do you put it for New York or?
No. The reason why I change it is so everyone is able to see what time is it in London. Because I don't think anyone really knows Malaysian time frame.
Yes, but the question, okay, why we are now into the London session.
Yeah.
But if we are in a New York session?
No, I'll still have my own time frame.
Okay. So we have only one time.
Yeah.
Very report. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Leila, you have a question?
Yeah, I saw something. this, you thinking selling, I'm thinking all of this is making higher highs. And this is a seller who already tried not making a low, isn't it? Maybe not buying, but not selling either, because this can just, because the seller already tried. Maybe it's gonna go above him, or at least to here or something.
Yeah. So this is the stuff where earlier I was saying time of day matters a lot. So 45 minutes ago, markets just opened, right? And we are right here. This is the part where we have to ask, okay, so market is about to open, volume is about to kick in, and there should be some movement in the markets, right? So from here, then you want to ask yourself, all right, we have tested that area a few times. If from here, market open and it still doesn't launch, instead it launches up, it may just tell you that, okay, I think, the market is trying to show that they are actually trying to go up. So in this case, it's important to see what market open does. So market open and it's continuing the push towards the upside. Then this makes the sells more questionable. And the only thing that would change your mind is if Frankfurt turns the entire thing around.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, when you see that it looks like this, you shouldn't, you should wait about no sell, just to see what it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Is it going up or down? And then decide. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But to answer your question, yeah, it can be viewed as a buy also, because on a higher time frame, we're going to switch to a higher time frame later, but on a higher time frame, this push that came down might just be a primary.
Yeah.
And this huge extended pullback towards a release zone
Second, yeah.
might be secondary. So the only clue that we can use in cases like this where market is both ways all the time. It can be a buy for a time frame and sell for another time frame. So the only way to know which direction we have to lean on is to know the trend and to know the volume.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we can lean on.
Yeah. And I'm seeing that the seller tried so many times also. This could be also the warnings. And this is like parabolic, big one. And then the buys kicked in.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Lucas.
Sure, no worries. All right. Let's see. Mark a level here. If we do get up there, we'll get an alarm just to see what happens. All right. So team A, you guys have any pairs you want me to look at? Eric, Williams, Jay, Maya? No?
Nothing at the moment from my side.
Okay.
How will we choose the pairs? According to what we see on 1 hour?
According to the level we have.
Okay.
So again, like the first few lessons is identifying a level, right? So the first thing you always want to look for when you're scanning the market is, am I at a level where I can trade from?
So it's like before the opening hours, we scan all the pairs, like from top to bottom, just look at 1 hour chart and look at if the price is close to a level that we would like to trade.
Yeah, let's do this then. Let's do that together. So the way I look at, the way I scan the pairs are, my attention is only going to be looking for this setup, let's say a kill on the 60 and a pullback. So the first thing is I want to look for a kill first. Okay, I want to look for a kill, and then I'm able to identify a level. Right, that's the first 3 days of the Unicorn program, right? So after knowing that I have this, then automatically my mind will go to, all right, so I'm looking for a release to go up. Am I in an uptrend? So that's my second piece. The third piece is, all right, so technical analysis looks good. Volume on the 60-minute, does it look good? Once I have that, then I'll mark the pair down. And then after I have everything, I'll start looking for the pullback on the 5. Okay, so the first thing is look for a kill. Basically, that's it. Otherwise, if we do not have a kill, a range with a resolution. Right?
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
So in this case, are you looking for like primary, let's say, for example, in this example, right? You do have this uptrend, and then if the price were, so obviously you would have some, if there's a recognized level here, if the price were close to here, would you consider this as well?
I would consider that, yeah.
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 Okay.
If it's a good level.
Yeah.
And if it's not way too high time frame.
Yeah. Okay.
Williams?
Yeah, I saw the same thing New Zealand CAD yesterday, but I'm not sure if the read was good for me or not.
All right. Let's jump to that. New Zealand CAD. All right. Casey, what question do you have?
Yeah, it was just real quick. As far as what you just drew up here, you're looking for the trap and pullback. How you go throughout your charts. Would it be good to say that unless we get that, like what you're training us for is strictly for this type of setup? I mean, so we should just be strictly going for that. Is that something that I could say, hey, if I don't see that, then I'm not going to trade? For me, I think that works the best.
Yeah. If you do not see a release zone, then, at least based on the Unicorn program, there's not much to trade.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So once you have this, then you have to do your filter with trend and volume, and then piecing it together with, all right, so I have trend, I have volume, I have a trap. Am I doing a primary here? That's the last piece, right? Because you need to know where your target can be.
Okay. Is that kind of like how I've heard Naveen talk about a lot? If you can master this zone, everything else afterwards, but once you master that part first, then all these other little trades here and there in between, you can actually start integrating, but you need to master that part first. Is that kind of where we're at? Hey, master this one, and then the other little ones we can pick up on later.
Yeah. So it's stuff like this, right? Say, how do you get in on this cell before this piece? Those are like the other stuff. So right now we're looking at this and hoping for this, which still comes pretty often. At least there's 2 or once a week with a very good, decent risk reward. Sometimes there's more. But yeah, if you are able to master this, then your read on price action will be good enough for you to try and attempt other stuff. All right.
So what's the reason why you guys look at the daily before the week starts? I never really understood that.
It's for the higher time frame guys. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Or stuff like cat yen. Not sure if everyone saw the higher time frame on the elite, but let's say higher time frame, we have a huge trap. Not, well, is it a trap or not? It doesn't really matter. It's a huge range, right? We pull back to that area, all of this slow down, bam, invite sellers coming in, right? Primary, secondary test, extremely deep, goes up. So if I have a little understanding of the higher time frame, like this, being able to read the price action, well, I would know ahead of time that even though there is a slowdown here that could be visible on the 60, there's no way in hell I would try and counter trend this, because this piece is like the on, right? If this is primary, secondary, this is like the on area. That's where higher time frame analysis comes into handy sometimes, not all the time, sometimes.
So when you see a turnaround and you notice that the flow's in a different direction, then you go to the daily to see what's going on?
You can. So for example, like the 60, let's say you're right here. Then you just want to check, why is this push so strong? Is it coming from a higher time frame or not? Is the higher time frame setting up or not? Doesn't really mean that you want to get in on your buys all the way up there. The most important thing is not to sell all the way up there. Because although it's, we're trying to, although selling high is logical, but in this case, it's not, because they are gearing up to push.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
All right. Kiwi Cat, I think someone raised their hand. No?
New Zealand cat.
New Zealand Cat? Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, what were you looking at, Williams?
No, I was looking there. I know we have a trend. Okay. We have a trend. So on the overall flow is the downside. So I was just hoping to find like a buyer that can trap so that I could continue the sell. So that I went down to the 5 minute to see if I could trap this buyer that comes up. But I know they have a volume. So I couldn't see where the last guy, but I could see it on the 5 or on the 15. So from there, I was able to max this area for release, and it goes down.
Yeah, your logic is good. All right. As you were saying, you see downtrend coming in, you are looking for buyers to come up and then have them trap to sell. All right. So so it's sort of like this here, inviting buyers to come up, trap them, kill them, and look for this. But you do not want to look for all that kind of stuff on your 5, because on the 60 it's still this guy. So you need to have the trap form.
I was looking at this as the trap that was formed because it was in the buyers when they took out. So from this area on the 5, I still see like another breakup, then was digested, then it tests back a little bit. Do I need to make sure everything's on 60, my lines, everything for okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't see very much on the 60. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, because this is still here. So this piece sort of invited buyers, but there's no level for a sell yet. Even if we cross below here, this guy may still be around.
Just broke through it.
Yeah. So even if we break down, you have a very tight spot, So this guy is around, but you also have a range. So that's the part where it gets a little bit tricky. But it's a good idea.
Can we anticipate if it goes up to range a little bit and then decide up or down?
What do you mean?
So here we have something like a trap.
Yeah.
Here also because of the long ranges. So if it goes up, it can go down from this trap. Again, if it does not break, it can also go this way or this way from here because of the traps here and here.
Yeah. So, no need to think about, you drew this, right? No need to think about this.
Yes.
No need to think about this. All you need to think about is you have some sort of a range. If price does go up, you can attempt some sort of a sell from there.
Okay.
Where you get out on this might probably be this range here on the 5, right? Because you're fading the 5 coming up to go down.
Okay. So we trade after a break from here. Up or down?
No, you just sell this piece, this one here.
Okay. So only this is tradable. Yeah.
For now, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So let me run you guys through how I scan. Okay, so first thing I see is overall downtrend. Before even looking at volumes, do I really have a level? I cannot really say. I might have a range, but I'm not trapping buyers right now. You see, we need some kind of a refresh, inviting buyers and then buyers to be trapped. All of this feels like it's still ranging. It's not much price action going on. I'll do this very quickly. If you guys have any question, mark down the pairs, and then after my analysis, then we can come back. Okay. Aussie yen. At this point, Aussie yen looks interesting to me a little bit. What I will be looking at is a range and then a resolution towards the downside. All right. I'm seeing a resolution towards the downside. All these might be the area where they're supposed to go down because all of these are buyers trying, fail. Pullback should release. Now, why it doesn't release, then I might switch my analysis around saying that, hold on, we might still be in a range. Second thing here is we have high volume at the bottom, which is not so good. High volume at the bottom, which is not so good for any kind of a sell. So the only option right now is for price to break this, to come back down. If it does break that and come back down like that, then I have to ask, this doesn't look good anymore because it feels even more like we are in a range. So that's not an option. The other option would be to resolve up and then do this buy. But I wouldn't mark it right now because to wait for this and this, it might take 2 sessions or it might be something for tomorrow. So as of right now, there's not much for me to do. All you guys can do in situations like this is just to mark this out, put an alarm. That's all. No need to put too much energy thinking about what it might do. Okay, Aussie USD. It is at a release zone here, right? We do see a pullback towards that zone and market move pre-market opening. So we do have some kind of a push down here. So again, here there are a few things to watch out for. we push up. These guys that are trapped might just be doing their primary. They cannot go far because these guys still want to buy. On top of that, we do have volume. So this might happen. All right. So what I will try and do here is see what happens, because if we miss the primary, there's not much for us to do anymore. So what I will try and do is just to mark out an alarm here, just to see if we do see a price coming down, what's happening down there. Are we gonna buy? Because if we do buy, we might run into a chance where, you know, sells might still be coming in. So if we do not buy this, wait for buyers to try and trap, maybe form a range and then kill, this just might be the safest one. So it's question mark. That's why right now we can put it as purple. Aussie Swiss, nothing much for me to do. There's no level form. All right, it's just highs like that. So this is easy. Just skip this. CAD Yen, same thing. All right. See, we resolve up like that. Last sell's attempt might just be there, but still very far away. Not to mention that this break looks very small. So for now, I'll skip that. Swiss yen, this piece, we're not really getting there anytime soon. Skip. Euro Aussie, we do not really have a level because overall we're still inside this thing. All right. Euro CAD, same thing. All right. We push down. Here we invited buyers, right? Because this guy got killed. Here they are trying. So if we do get a pullback afterwards, maybe something can be done up there. But right now there's not much. Right? Euro yen, we're still inside seller's territory. So the only thing I'm thinking about right now is looking for a sell. But upon checking the volumes, each time we have high volume, we end up resolving up. So it's not a sell market. It's not healthy. Skip. Range, skip. Euro USD. Now, this Euro USD is interesting because at this point, we resolve up from this range. Retest for a release, right? Something like that. But try to look out for what's going on the left, right? In this case, none of these release or these traps are gonna work because we are in an overall huge range. So this pair automatically is a skip for me. Pound Aussie, just in the range as well. Pound CAD, we'll come back to this a bit. Pound Swiss, nothing for me to do. Pound Yen just might be interesting enough because we might just be seeing that here when we have this pullback. All right, now this may be a little bit confusing, so come back to this later. When we have this pullback, if this sell is very strong, all right, it may just invite sellers coming in, right? In that case, if this guy got killed, someone may try and release. On the flip side, this could be a primary, secondary, and all of this could be beginning to launch. That launch failed. We pull back. This guy was supposed to sell. And now we're inching our way up. So if we do resolve up, all these sellers might just be trapped, resuming the uptrend for a release like that to buy. Something like that. All right, so we're still far away from this setup. So I'm not putting too much attention on this right now. Nothing here. Nothing here. This up pound USD is a trend that's been going on for very long. Kiwi CAD, nothing as well. New Zealand Swiss. All right. New Zealand Swiss was an interesting one because if this is the last seller, push up, all is still try. Not sure if they're still trying, but we do resolve back up. Yesterday night, we do see some kind of a pullback. And then at this point, we see some kind of a primary, some kind of a secondary here. Now, secondary actually tried to go around 11 p.m. London time. So it's more or less in the dead hours. Market opened and it's starting to come back down. So this uptrend, just based on price action alone, doesn't really look that healthy anymore. Okay, so skipping this. Kiwi yen. Now, how I'm looking at pairs is when I have yens or pairs that look similar. So earlier on we have something that looks pretty similar, like Aussie yen, right? So Kiwi yen looks pretty similar. So the story stays the same. I don't really want to sell this because there's so many high volume at the bottom. Every time we have high volume, we actually resolve up. In this case, if we do get this, can this be a buy? Right? So I'm not going to put too much attention on this right now. Just going to put an alarm there, just in case we do get up there. New Zealand USD. New Zealand USD, similar price action. We do have a big range. Now, where's my release on this pair? On this pair, release could just be around here, which we are pretty close to it. But the flip side is true as well, because from the left, the way I'm seeing it is buyers coming in, buyers try, hell, crash. So there's a level there, right? I'm just marking levels here, okay? So we're in a very tight spot right now. Again, like Aussie USD, we want to see if this price action does occur. Right? USD CAD. Yep, this is the one that Jay was talking about yesterday. So still have a level here, just to see if we do get up there, if we can get a sell in, but we're far away. Okay, dollars. So USD yen is the pair that we were talking about. So no need to look at this too much for now. Dollar Swiss is sort of like an illusion to me because overall uptrend, we have breach, higher highs, very good level to look at. But if I continue my analysis, where's my volume at? It's here. It's here. So this piece alone is telling me that I don't think buys are going to be easy on this pair. So I'll skip this also. And then the most interesting pair so far would be dollar yen. All right. 5 minute break, and then we come back with question.
Okay.
Yep. I think earlier on, Jay, you were asking if we're right around areas pulling back to a level, can we take the trade? So it's stuff like this where you can try and attempt like this particular one at this zone here.
Yeah. In this particular case, you wouldn't really sell it though because the buyer's volume, right?
Location is really good, right? This is really good. Yeah, the only thing that could bother you is there's absolutely no volume at all on the push up, and when this rejection candle formed, it was before market were even open. So it's a little bit difficult to trust the sell. If volume was higher, or at least, like this, then it should be okay. But it's really low, right?
So even if the volume's lower, you would still take the sell regardless of this high volume?
Yeah, because it's really far away, that area. So this is right around here. And you would know that you're not going to ride this too far anyway, because this is because we are in a buyer's territory, it's sort of like counter trending, but we're doing a primary of this zone here. Yeah, unless unless this is right here, then that changes the story. It's high volume.
Yeah.
I'm currently in that primary, and I expect it to push back up, and then there's news in New York session that might push it down again.
Yeah.
Secondary, I'll see.
Yeah, it may. So the analysis I have, or at least what I'm thinking about, is this is a zone where buyers will try and attempt, right? Because it's a range we break out SNRs, but overall we are in a downtrend. So there will be a good possibility where they're gonna fight it out around this zone and see where the fight resolves. If there's higher volume here compared to this, then it can be attempted because of the overall flow again. But I still sort of have my conservation to try and sell this piece just because of this and this.
That's the part that gets me. Like, it's like we already used that volume, so should it still be important around this area?
I don't know. It might. Sometimes it may. Sometimes it may not. Because see how this area has high volume. We came down to it once. We came down yesterday, and it still resolves. So yeah, not really ruling that out.
I see.
So in this case, we know it might range, right? Because of this and this. So the whole goal is trying to make sure that we get in as high as we can with a proper setup, of course, around here. Before all of this forms. Right, so in this case, we do have sort of like a proper setup as well. This range. Few things going on in a range, right? Once we resolve, there is bound to be someone trying to release. Release here. Okay, guy who started buys. Came back down kill this guy. This is the last attempt. This probably would be where you can put a limit order. And this is generally how we trade a breakout of a range. Not breakout of range, failed breakout. Like that. You guys see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is there's no volume, so it's tough. Higher volume.
Yeah, that's like the one thing I noticed during the entries. I don't know if it's because of like dead hours, but like we'll still have high volume on our side. I mean, volume on our side for the sell, but like the volume's really low, so I don't know whether to trust it or not.
Yeah, no. Generally, no. The best scenario generally is this piece being Frankfurt. So Frankfurt opens, and then London kicks in, and all of the volume from Frankfurt and London all belongs to the sell side. That's the ideal scenario. So here, all of this is before Frankfurt even open, so there's no volume to back our trade up.
Yeah, there was a trade on Euro Pound, and it was similar. There was volume, but it wasn't a lot, so I didn't know whether to trust it to take the sell.
All right.
And it was happening before market open.
Okay, we'll have a look at that later.
Yep.
Also, Lucas, that might help to just confirm is it's like when I did that primary this morning, I looked at correlation also, and all the pairs were correlating, the US pairs.
Mm-hmm.
And the dollar index also got a nice bounce from a resistance or support. So that was a bit of confirmation that it will go.
Okay. Oh, you did the primary around here?
Yes.
All right. Nice. Yep. We'll use correlation later on. But which price did you sell? At where?
That one where your arrow is, when it came,
This
it
one?
broke out of that small range, yeah. And when it came back and I saw all the pairs correlating, I got in there exactly by your arrow.
Great. Yeah, that would typically be a good setup. Yeah, good job there. And exits here?
Yes, I did close some and I'm running with some.
Okay. All right. Yeah, well done there. It's a good setup. It's just not confident enough to take it with the volume. Yeah, this one reacted right off the release, right? So it's pretty cool. All right, Laila.
Could it be that it's going to another level? Because I'm seeing here buyers, when these buyers came and took out this guy, maybe these buyers have a lot of volume. So maybe it's going up to this area to come down?
It might, but this goes back to, I think, the first few questions you asked. If we do see such a deep pullback,
Yeah.
it might give us a reaction, but is it just gonna do this? So in this case, looking at these guys as being the last few tries, even though we sort of are below him, that these are the last few tries that might be the area where it does this. Just might be. I don't know. It may still do this because of this.
Because we also talked about when you see this move down and you have this level, and this is where you said Naveen could take a level from this level, take it down. A lot of times you wait for this level But I understand that you say, okay, it can be too late. Maybe sellers are not convinced anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. So it's a juggle between where the best price is and where the logical price is. Like this sort of feels a little bit more logical.
I don't know that volume. Is it up there or is it in this or here? This green bar.
Is this one?
This one. So it came up down from here. So you have a lot of volume here, not here. Maybe that could be, I don't know, a lot of buyers and sellers there.
Yeah, yeah. So when price do go up, it is gonna cause reaction.
Yeah.
Based on the volume, for sure.
Yeah, don't take it too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So Team A, seeing me run through the pairs, do you guys have any question?
If we have, let's say, I don't know, 10 pairs, which looks good, how many pairs will select for that session?
The one that is gonna set up the soonest.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So do we lean more towards the pairs that have a correlation, or to the one that I can easily find the TTR, the train track, and the release area?
The way I use correlation is once I have a few pairs, let's say I have dollar yen, right? The one that I like the most, I'll open up dollars and the yens. We're gonna do that maybe tomorrow. Yeah, for correlation. But I don't really use correlation to look for pairs, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. If I see the, like, even with the correlation, some of them as what I'm looking for. So do I lean more towards choosing pairs from that correlation, or just finding pairs that I know that I could find what I'm looking for, like the release point and everything?
Yeah, that would be safer for now. That would be easier for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lucas, do you also look at the dollar index when you look at correlation and trading USBs?
No, but you can. One of the prop guys look at index just for correlation. Eric, have any question?
No, not really. Oh, yeah, I do have one. I'm thinking if you have like multiple pairs to be monitoring, then also looking at the correlation, that could be a lot. So do you have to decide when you go into the really detailed monitoring the correlations? Do you need to decide? Let's say you have two candidates, two pairs that you think are very interesting. Do you have to choose one of them before you go into the details? Because otherwise, I feel sometimes I have experienced the past. It's quite overwhelming trying to monitoring many pairs.
Yeah.
Right.
For me, I wouldn't go more than two pairs if there's
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because there's correlation as well, right? So so there's too much data. So the max I will go for is just two pairs if those two are setting up for the day, for the session. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So let's say you have like 5 pairs you're looking at. So what's the best, like, choosing which one to go with? Because I always struggle with that as well. Let's say I have 5, then I'll be just trying to keep going back and forth to see which one I could take. Sometimes I end up losing everything.
Okay.
I'm not sure if the greed side of me, but I'm just trying to figure out the best to just stick to one or two. Is that the best idea?
So it depends on Generally speaking, if there are 5 pairs, there's a very slim chance that it's 5 pairs from different currency group. So if I do see 5 similar pairs, it generally means they are correlating. And from the correlating group, let's say all of them are pounds, I'll just look at one of the pound pairs to focus on. And to choose which is the best pound pairs, then you have to use traps, volumes, space, trend, all that kind of stuff.
That's cool. Yeah.
Good. Lucas, can we maybe, I don't know if there's time left, not today, but at the end of the course, maybe just do a whole process of where you actually start at the morning. What do you look at? How do you do play selection? I don't know. That will help a lot. Just your routine every
I would
day.
vote for that as well.
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Sure. We can do that maybe towards the last week.
Yeah.
It will be important as well to throw in how I generally do my post analysis.
What about the news part, like the news release part?
Yeah, I looked at that as well. All I'm focusing on, I don't really look into what the news mean.
Right.
All I'm focusing on is when exactly are the news going to be released, and based on when exactly that is, where I am on the charts to see if I can do anything. That's all.
Right.
But you can still read into the news because some traders do that as well.
Okay.
What I really found very useful, that was quite informative, was the last one-on-one that Naveen did. I think it was on Sunday.
With Paul?
We talked about, yes, with fundamentals and the way CAD and the stuff moves with the interest rates. That was really something to watch.
Yeah. If you guys are in the elite, do try and watch that. Yeah,
wow. Yeah, I didn't know that there's a new one. Okay, great. I'm going to watch that.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
3 days ago. Okay, yeah. I will go and have a look.
Yeah. It's one of the guys, one of the guys in the prop. He's huge. He looks at a lot of fundamentals. It doesn't mean it will help if you're trading, but it's healthy to know as well, what's going on in the market.
It's for investing, maybe, this kind of fundamental analysis. Investing on long term.
Just to know that, if a market is doing really well, you don't really want to counter trend it too much. Something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So not too much question from how I run through the pairs just now. Fairly logical, right?
Yeah.
Laila, I'm not sure if you have your hand up from just now.
Yeah, it's about the news. There are news all the time, maybe a few in 1 hour and you see a setup, but okay, the news will come now, then it's gonna come in 1 hour and more. What do you do? How do you react to that? How just ignore it, or what to do?
It depends. So if let's say we are right here, let's say for whatever reason we are looking for a buy, and let's say around 7 a.m. there's the news. Okay, and we are right around 6 a.m. right now. So the only thing I will think about and do is to wait to see if I can get a kill before the news release, or when the news release, that kill is gonna be coming from the news and it has a higher chance of moving. That's all. I wouldn't really I only put around 10% or 15% of my attention on the news release. So I just look at when markets are gonna have news release, and that's all.
Yeah, but let's say you have the setup to go down, and then the news is the opposite. What you do with that?
Oh, okay.
You
So
still
let's say
the trade or not?
we are here, right, before the news. Let's say we took the sell as it's coming down, and this is the point where news is gonna release. The only thing I would do is just move my stops back to break even. And
Okay.
yeah, that's all. That's the only thing I would do.
And you would still go on your trade based on the technicals and all that you read, not on the news.
Yeah.
Okay, that was good.
So that means you can also, in the example you took just now, you actually enter before the news release. So timing wise, obviously we will not trade very, very close to the news release, but if there's enough time till the news release, and then the price is at the point which is a good entry, then we will take it, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So from what I found is, if the price action is okay, volume is okay, trend is okay,
Yeah.
there is gonna be a higher probability where the news is gonna help your setup instead of destroying your setup.
Yeah. So I'm always have this hypothesis that those big boys they know something before the news release.
Yeah. Okay. I think someone had a pair. Oh yeah, Euro pound. So what was it again, Jay?
Right here for cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the pullback and everything. The volume wasn't that great, and it took off pre-market open. So
yeah,
overall the setup, it's all stuff we've been going over.
Yep. This one this is on the first day, right, of the unicorn. I think second day. Anyway, I was looking at this as well. Yeah, I wouldn't be too convinced about selling this just because it's right before market open. But it does have all the elements, right? All the volumes is above. This slowdown might invite enough buyers to come in for a refresh, right? All these buyers. Okay, buyers got trapped. Did we kill anyone? I don't think so. But we do have a huge range with volume that resolves down after inviting buyers in. Everyone understand the setup in general, 60-minute level that we are trying to isolate? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So all that part is good. You know, when we breach down, you do your overall volume analysis. Again, the same thing, high volume from the top, still the top, in the middle, still high-ish, no volume at the bottom, right? Pullback still doesn't really have high volume. Here it's slightly increased, but I wouldn't read too much into that because market wasn't really open yet. But ideally speaking, that's where you would get your trade. Let's see.
Even the entry for the price action was kind of tricky. The only entry I seems like right here.
Yep. So again, it's really easy for me to say in hindsight, right? But you see, this is your last buyer.
Yeah.
Yep, this is your last buyer. He pushed up, sort of tested a little bit, and then resolved down. If we are in a good area and then the price action on the 60 minutes is telling you we are in a launch mode, you can just put your limit order once it resolves down, killing this guy here, but putting your stops a little bit higher because this zone here, is still an area where price can squeeze to, right? Just for release. So
the only way I was able to justify an entry right here is if this was just a probe and we have a nice range.
Yeah. Or here, breaks down, giving you a retest, getting in around here.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a really easy setup. Wasn't able to catch this also.
Yeah, it's just the volume.
Yeah.
Kind of looks good, but then it kind of doesn't.
Why so fast?
Yeah, generally it's gonna be fast if we are in this phase. Generally when we are in sort of like a primary, secondary. This secondary obviously squeezes really hard, all right? And then this phase generally is very fast. The fastest one I would say is this, and then this. This sometimes can be tricky. Right, obviously doing this trap, now you guys have a good idea that it's not so easy to do. Sometimes it doesn't give you a reaction. It might just crash.
Our trend takes over.
Yeah.
Lucas, do you ever chase it, right?
So if I miss this, the most I would do is here. Here, not really anymore, because the stops is way too wide. Yeah. Yeah. That's just how I am. Sometimes I do see people getting away with selling this piece with a stops right here and then going down. Sometimes that works. Sometimes, it pulls back. And then my sell works. The next person took a 2-3 hour loss before it works out. So I think it all comes down to your personality. All right. Yeah, Jay. So yeah, for this one, I probably would have done the same thing as you, not taking the sell.
Cool. Yeah, what I'm starting to realize now is at first I thought the trade management side of things, there was like a set way to do it. And I'm starting to see that it's based on your personality, right?
Sort of, yeah. And then you just make sure whatever you're trying to do, make sure you have a plan, not a plan, but a rule for that. And then do the same thing for at least 20 to 30 times just to see if it actually pays off doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing that that you would be worried about for trade management kind of thing is, let's say if we did sell this piece like that with stops here, okay? Knowing the fact that we have refreshed on the 60-minute, knowing the fact that we are at a zone where the 60 minutes should release to make new lows. Once you get in here, just see where your little sellers are. So sells. Is this a guy who started? I'm not sure. But let's just say if this is a guy who started, what happens here? If this is a guy who started.
We have a trap below.
Yeah, you have a trap here, right? So what I would do is if price continues to push up here, then I would get out. Because obviously the trend has turned again. It's not supposed to turn, it has turned again. This kill here confirms that someone's trapped. Now this release, if it continues to push up, then you don't need to hold to get stopped out. You want to get out right away.
Yeah, that was like one of my problems. Like when do you know when to scratch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're doing actually, when we're doing stuff like this, when we're doing this retest to buy, right, we're actually doing is gauging the downtrend on the 5 to make sure the trend change. That's all. In the simplest form, it's sort of looking at higher high, lower highs, lower low, lower highs, lower low, normal lower, lower low, and then higher high, and then the trend change. So all we're doing is waiting for the trend to change to resume this piece, right? So in this area here, our whole job, our whole assumption is waiting for this trend to change from uptrend to a downtrend. If this downtrend that's supposed to go from this price fails to continue down, then you have a problem there, because this is the piece where it's supposed to launch.
Right.
Right? Does that make sense for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you, because this is coming from a 60 level, would you say this price action is pretty slow coming from the 5 minutes?
No, it's good enough. It's good enough. As long as you see red bars like that, then it should be okay. What's slow? It's this is slow. I was looking at this yesterday. This is slow.
I see.
Yeah.
Making sense.
Yeah. It's important to know which part of the story we are in. So in this case, if we stick to our earlier assumption that this could be this could be a primary, this could be a secondary, and this is the on phase. If we are selling here, all of this is a huge red flag for us. Before we even go down to the 5, we are able to see that the red bars are small and, a lot of wicks and tails, right? And it's not even dead hours, it's sort of in the opening hours. So if the on area, it's supposed to launch and it's struggling so much, then when the news is released around this point, that is going to be a very risky situation. Does that make sense?
So yeah, would you just get out seeing the struggle, or would you wait for some buyers to show up to just scratch it?
Again, that's your I think that's personal preference. For me, I would just put it at break even.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Any other question? Yeah, we do see. Well, to answer your question, so if we do sell from areas like this, all right, say we have changed territory from the uptrend to a downtrend, all right, then you sell from the release zone with stops above. You'll see the moves coming down, right? Very, very slow. It's supposed to go really quick because we are in an on phase. We have switched territory from here before. So it should be like this kind of speed. So when we go down, 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 then you see this before even the turn. Here, 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 here. Just want to see where your guy who started is. Is this here or here? All right, so just mark out
the top one.
Yeah, mark out the two areas and then see high volume, who's selling down there. Well, it's supposed to go, right? So we should be selling down there even more. But if those sells, all that high volume from here, okay, on this bar, goes up, then, with the same kind of knowledge you guys have right now, overall trend, where's the highest volume so far at the bottom, then, even if you do not move your stops to break even, let's say your stops are here, you want to get out here or here.
Would it be too early to get out in the range? Because I think that's where I would get out, seeing the high volume.
I don't know. I'm not sure because here it still resolves down and it's still, yeah. I think it may be too early.
And I think when it comes back into that range, after it broke out, then I would have gotten out.
Yeah, I think that's more logical, especially with the high volumes.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to wait to see if it takes this guy out. That's like a long way.
True. Yeah, true. So the worst thing we can ever have on the trade is when we take a sell here, we know that there's high volume. Well, here, all this volume got transferred to the sell side, which is good for us, right? Because we want to sell. And then we may be in a situation where price is squeezing us, and then resolve down with high volume. In all of this phase, we should be fairly comfortable about the trade because so far right now, all the volumes are behind us. When you see the trade moves and then you have even higher volume at the bottom, then that's not really a good situation, especially if it hasn't reached target. In this case, if we are in an on mode, the target should at least be here.
Right.
Yeah. So it's little stuff like that, using the same thing we have learned so far.
Even on the Aussie now, on the 5 minute, you can see the volumes increase and it's forming a range. So if I was in a sell, I would have gotten out now and maybe get in later.
Yeah. So if we were to sell here, all this volume would be very worrisome for us, especially when we are at this kind of zone. We might react here or react down there. So yeah. So if you have more than 1 hour going for this one, I think it's fine to get out because it's a good trade from the high end of that area towards the release zone at the bottom.
And also, that was a primary trade. Secondary trade.
I
So-
think primary, yep.
Yeah, so we can expect that area to react back towards the primary. And if we get another entry, we can have another go at it.
Yeah, so if it does, preferably, again, I would want to have more space to come down. So when it pulls back, then the next thing you want to make sure is this high volume here is higher than this at least, or at least the same high. Because right now it's at the bottom, right? So
Yeah, I think that this is also where we can use the news at 3 o'clock. There's some nice US news coming out. I think it's the PMI numbers.
yeah,
That might push it through that level and make a lower low.
yeah, it might. Just be a little bit careful of this and this. Let's see. I think the whole elite is looking at this pair.
Yeah, but it's a nice setup. I mean, if you look up on the 4 hours, it's a nice big bear flag at the moment. So if that flag breaks, it can travel far.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think if you've got that in mind, you can do the short-term trade and get out there, as you say.
Yeah.
But leave at least a little bit running for the bigger picture.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Naveen did a higher time frame read on this one. But to show you guys, he is actually looking at something like this on the higher time frame. Overall seller's territory coming down. Okay. And then all of this slow down invited buyers to come in. Right? So buyers came in like that. This is your higher time frame, much higher time frame, right? Higher time frame primary. Primary cannot go far because these guys that resolve up would try and release. Right? Release cannot go make higher highs. Secondary. This might or might not just be the on area to push down. So this is from a little bit higher time frame.
Yeah, I think that's everybody's sort of thing they see. But the thing is, if you trade something like this, your stop must be way up there on the daily. So you must be able to absorb that if it comes against you.
Yeah.
Not like trading it like for a 5-minute trade, then you're gonna just not make it.
Yeah. It's probably gonna be until February. So yeah, it's a good one to follow. Find it really interesting as well.
Lucas, do we consider, do we interpret the volume on daily?
No.
Okay, because it seemed to be similar with what we talked.
What do you mean?
If we, I mean, there is high volume here.
Yeah.
And also we have here some volume.
Yeah.
A turnaround. Here a turnaround, and here also here.
Well, here could be here, right?
Also here, oh, over here. I don't know. Just a question. Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Here not. So here not. No. Okay.
No need to really consider the daily volume. It's just too much data. It might confuse you. So just stick with what you see on the 60-minute time frame. That's the easiest way to go.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, on the 60, you have a lot of data to consider as well. All right. If we do not have any question, tomorrow try and look for a pair before the session begins, and then we can look at the live market together and see if we can spot any setups. All right, so tomorrow will be Team B's turn. Try to look for setups for the live market.
All right, thank you.
All right, no worries. See you guys tomorrow.
Excellent.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Welcome. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.